it just feels so good inside to know that an adult is always there for you, because a kid without someone in life to be there for you is basically just no one. They feel empty inside and they don't feel loved, and it's great when there's someone there to be for you, so you can feel like you actually have a purpose in life.
I feel like we have many different organizations in Lafayette that are using the framework. Probably many that don't know they're using it because they're natural asset builders for life. Many of our adult leaders make kids feel good about themselves and develop relationships with kids and show them that they care.
The 40 asset language has been part of my repertoire since probably 2000. It was introduced to us as professionals in child welfare, but it really didn't have any meaning until I had a child that went to kindergarten. This past year with my son has been transformational in my own understanding about how important the need is for other people to understand 40 assets as well.
I was first formally introduced to the 4 developmental assets at last year's Our Kids conference, and I went there initially as an administrator. I'm the principal at Thomas Miller School, and I went there to add value to myself as administrator of that school. But I quickly found myself looking at the list of 4 developmental assets and kind of reflecting on what I provide for my children.
The 40 developmental assets really gives us a tool as a building block of what we can do as outside role models to help launch them into a better future, and especially in working with at-risk youth, breaking the cycle that they may be stuck in from their family of generations past, whether it be addiction or early pregnancy, dropping out of school. There's so many things that affect not only our community but kids all over the nation. And the 40 developmental assets gives us a foundation of saying these things really, there's research behind what can project them into being a valuable and contributing member of society.
I think that recognizing and understanding the developmental assets of youth enables you to understand that it is the voice of what they need to empower them to make positive decisions for outcomes in life. As a parent, as a Cub Scout leader, as a law enforcement officer, I think that building any program and developing the skills based off these assets can only bring our community closer so that our youth can make the better decisions and to become better people. And if any program or any individual who works with youth on a daily basis can just grasp the concepts and the ideas and take these building blocks that are provided here with these assets, you'll become someone's hero. You'll become that mentor that youth need.
As someone who's fairly new to the community here in Lafayette, I think that one of the things that surprised me most about what's happening is the way that adults in our community have really come together to embrace this model, this framework of the 40 developmental assets, and say that we really care about the development of youth in our community. We really want to be a community who says youth are important. We value what they do.
I'm an accountant by education, but I'm also a mom, an aunt, a neighbor, a congregant, and a volunteer. Each day, I have many opportunities to interact with children, whether it's in the grocery store, in the laundromat, or at the schools. It's often easy to walk past children and your mind be somewhere else and not really pay attention. But it's also very easy to be intentional about reaching out to children with a smile, a compliment, and just something that lets them know that they're there and you value them.
It's easy to say to a child who is old enough to communicate back, I understand where you're coming from, when in reality that's not the case at all. I don't know what they're going through. Every child that I interact with has gone through some traumatic experience, and I want to understand them better. I want to understand what makes them tick, where they're coming from. I want to know their fears. I want to know what they enjoy, what sparks their interest. And so getting to know that, getting to know their details is something that I really value.
As the Community Center Director at Bauer Family Resources, I have the opportunity to build assets with youth in many different ways. In our youth development program, I get to watch children grow up and experience opportunities that they've never had an opportunity to experience before, really life-changing opportunities for them. I definitely enjoy my job at Bauer, and I have an amazing opportunity to impact the lives of children so that they are young, healthy children, so that they can be young, healthy adolescents and young, healthy adults as well.
I've had the great opportunity in my career to be able to make a difference and touch many lives and use those assets to make students feel good about themselves and to show them I care about them and to encourage them.
Research has shown that early literacy skills are one of the best predictors of a child's success later in school. When we look at the 40 developmental assets of the preschool area, one jumps right out, and that's literacy skills, development of literacy skills, and that includes things such as having an adult read and share books with you, having the opportunity to handle, manipulate, and touch books.
It was really meaningful when my son came home after the first couple of weeks of school, and he told me that his principal, Mrs. Fields, was awfully smiley. I asked him why he thought she was smiley, and he said, because I think she likes to work with kids all day. It was my first moment of knowing that his school was an asset building school and that his principal understood the value of helping kids connect to the adults.
And when I think of as a community, I think about some of the areas where we've kind of went wrong. And you think maybe 30, 40 years ago, students, more people went to church. Everybody knew their neighbors. Grandma and grandpa lived fairly close. You think of the assets those children had, and then you think about today's society where, sometimes, the children don't even know who their neighbors are because of maybe fear of safety or the fact that a child has moved a lot. There's no assets around. And, with jobs and the financial situation, sometimes grandma and grandpas aren't around. So you think about the assets our children have today versus what they had 30 years ago. I think we really kind of did a disservice to our children, and we have to really think about what are we doing to encourage our children to have other assets, other people involved to help them be successful.
People need to know that 40 assets are an intentional process, and it's not just about being nice to students, nice to kids on the street, or hanging out with children in the neighborhood. That the things that we do with kids are really important, and helping them establish connections with their community is priceless. I keep thinking about what the community can do to really capture the essence of 40 assets. I think one of the things is continue as individuals to spread that news, to help people understand that the 40 assets they might be doing right now, just by virtue of the involved adults that they are.
We have a unique opportunity to build a movement, but I think it goes beyond an opportunity. We have an obligation to the youth in our community. We have an obligation to them that says, we care about you. We have an obligation to say, we value you. So whatever that means for you, whether that's being a mentor, coaching a little league team, being a volunteer at your local Boys and Girls Club or community center, or just being a neighbor who goes out and says hello to the kid next door playing basketball, how was your day? I think we're at a point where we're at a crossroads. We can go in either one of two directions. We can embrace the status quo, as most communities do, or we can embrace the movement, a movement that says we are a community who values youth. I think that the well-being of our children and the future of our community depends on it.
I'm Colleen, and I am an asset builder.
I'm Angela. I'm an asset builder. I'm Laura, and I'm an asset builder.
I'm Brandon, and I'm an asset builder.
I'm Debbie, and I'm an asset builder.
I am Bridget, and I am an asset builder.
I'm Jeff, and I am an asset builder.
I'm Cassie, and I'm an asset builder.
I'm Keith, and I'm an asset builder.
I'm Josh, and I'm an asset builder.